Back to had the cakes. Talks, just say that the cakes were good.
Great cakes. I like the cakes. The only one thing that I was just thinking about is in terms of how do you expand? You talked a lot about the personal touch, very much you making the cakes. How do you scale that up? Because the second you get to a large number of cakes, presumably it becomes less personal. And is that something that you can do? If you've thought about your factory, will it somehow have a lot of people doing personal stuff, or does it go almost to machine-made cakes once you get beyond, I don't know, 100,000 cakes a week or whatever? Is that there's no personal anymore? I love the cakes, and just really want to. It just felt like as a business, it's always going to be quite limited if it's personal, and that would people travel distances to have the cakes, or is it always going to be a local business that is very personalised?
Okay. Anthony, do you want to go next?
I thought it was a very good presentation. I thought the hook went in early. I thought you kept the interest. I like the way you went around. Fortunately, I'm dairy intolerant as well, which is why I can't eat it. So, it is actually quite pretty, so I'll take a picture and put it on Instagram. I thought,
He needs to take a picture. Yeah, go on.
I thought you were extremely honest in terms of, so that always works well with investors, whether you're looking at VC or angels or anything. I thought the honesty in terms of pointing out the faults that you had in your presentation was quite cute. I like the way you did it earlier on. And by doing that, you got rid of all of the big questions that we had, which was in terms of the numbers. And that is why, in terms of your presentation, was slightly different, because in the end, you know, it says a lot of things, but you haven't got any numbers behind it. You haven't got you know, what makes it a business. When I read your pre-pitch, you said about that you were doing stuff at 12 p.m. in the evening after work and stuff like that. And that's not sustainable by any stretch of the imagination. You know, so it doesn't talk about how you're going to generate this into a business. Following off of what Tokes was saying, just it's a nice idea. If lots of stuff come from the gut, if you excuse the pun on that. But then you say, well, you're not the finance person, so you need somebody else to come and do the business idea for you. Which is cool if you give them 95% of the company, right? Because they're going to develop the business plan. So I don't know what to do. You know, it's if you're asking for somebody to come on board and develop your business for you, you'll struggle to find somebody unless you employ somebody. But you need that. You need to cover that bit to make it viable for you to take to the next stage, or even to prove to you that maybe the numbers don't work, don't make sense. But if I were you, I'd actually say, you know, whoever does those jackets of yours, that's because I want to know where you got one of those, because I'd like one.
Design myself.
Well, that's you should think about that.
What else? What else?
You mentioned that the website was up,
Yes.
but I checked it. It's not.
Pancakes.uk. www.pancakes.uk.
.uk.
.uk, yes.
Right. You had .co.
As I said, it was incorrect. So I was my
Okay.
That was the old website. So yes, www.pancakes.uk.
Right. The way I see the business is you need to get in front of the customers. You need to have a base. You need to have, let's say, a shop. But would the shop just sell cakes? Would you be prepared to diversify? Would you be prepared to sell other things? Would you?
Yeah, we do. So we do everything from biscuits to macarons. We actually train as well. So my idea for business is just not baking cakes. We do wedding cakes, we do cheesecakes. So the idea for business is to have online training, in-house training. Because a lot of people reach out to us for masterclasses.
Okay.
So the business
So
can be.
if I can just interject, because what's happening here is what happens a lot, and
Yeah.
you guys, you're running already before you can walk.
Mm.
You can't have a business off a store or a shop without even knowing if you can afford it. You need to know if, first of all, if this makes any sense whatsoever, because going back to the point that Tokes was making, how many can you sell? What, you know, you need to do what you were writing down.
No, but what the point I'm making is it may be that, for example, you start as, let's say, a coffee shop.
Where?
Okay. And a coffee shop somewhere.
Yeah, but when somewhere doesn't
Hold
exist,
on.
where?
You basically start as a coffee shop. yes, you're making cakes and you build it from there. Okay. But what you're saying is that you want to start as a cake shop, only a cake shop. It may be that you need to look at opening up a cake school, getting school children in there, getting corporate clients in there to have team building exercises, things like that. I just think that you need to diversify to start with to support the business in the early stages.
Absolutely, thank you. So on my part, as this is my first ever sort of presentation, so there are definitely flaws in this presentation. It's not perfect at all. But I didn't give you the figures because I already had it to answer your questions because we have been selling since 2015. I'm in full-time work, and so I to answer your questions, I'm getting home from 6 o'clock in the afternoon sometimes, and I'm baking through the night. So it's not sustainable, absolutely. So I do want to do my full-time job, but obviously you can't do that without doing it the right way. So we've been growing this business organically, just over the mouth. And in 2019 so far, due to current projection, we are at £19,000. That's what we're going to potentially make by the end of the year.
Turnover or profit?
That's just turnover. So we haven't, again, that's why I said I'm not perfect at everything, so I haven't done the cost analysis because we're working from home. You know, so I'm not factoring, obviously, expenses as well in this figure. This is just turnover.
Have you done pop-ups?
Sorry?
Pop-ups?
Yeah, we've done pop-ups as well.
Yeah.
So we have.
How have they gone?
Very well. You know, feedback, as you guys have just said, Kate's feedback is amazing. That's why I said the front end of our products, no dispute. We know what we're doing in terms of producing good quality products, but it's the back end stuff that we have numbers, we're selling. So we've been doing ourselves off the back, just me and my fiance, not trained, just literally waking up and just having ideas and creating products. So to answer your question in terms of cakes, we don't just do wedding cakes. For example, we went to Grace Sweets, manufacturers Grace Sweets, went to them last year with cheesecakes, for sample, just to get feedback and to see who we supply. And they said, can you produce 500 cheesecakes a week for us? We're living in a flat in South here at the time, so that was not viable. So we said, well, this time we can't. We're just to sort of test the waters to see who we do can be sort of accepted to people.
We're going to have to stop you.
Have you thought about getting a, let's say, a commercial kitchen?
Yeah, so I'm actually talking to a few friends of mine that actually do want to invest because they love what we do. So we looked at premises in Angel, isn't it? And we found a basement restaurant store called The Store for about £13,000 for rent a year.
Yeah.
So we could actually look at getting the premises, increase our footprint, and obviously reach out to the wider market and more people because we're working from home at the moment.
And finally, have you studied, let's say, Hummingbird,
Yes.
to know their story and how they managed to scale?
Yes. And Lola's cupcakes as well.
Yeah.
Before I started this, I literally went around London buying cupcakes everywhere, just to get a test of market, see what people actually like. Did some questionnaires and people actually like sugar. So that's why our cakes have got to try not too sweet. So the feedback we're getting is people like handmade, because Hummingbirds are not really handmade. So in terms of upscaling, we can upscale, but we need more hands on deck. If I was to produce 500 cheesecakes a week, yes, I can't do it by myself. So I'll need obviously an investment more people. But still handmade and not like massively to produce. We can actually reach out to a lot of people. Because we split the business in two. So team for wedding.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you now. I know no. I've got the power
Thank you.
on the platform. No. A round of applause for him. A lesson for all of us in the house. You will realize that what he's now doing is more interesting than what he did before. If you're already making money from 2015, I don't know why that wasn't your pitch this night. I'd say that I'd stop at that. I did a business planning course 5 years ago. And one of the principles is if you're already running business, actually that is your 2 minutes elevator pitch. Okay? That is it. And I start to be corrected by the guys that are doing this every day. I already started business in 2015. I have sold 5,000 cupcakes. I am looking to grow this to sell 50,000